Peace, family. How are you doing? How's everybody this morning? There's my cat. She's going crazy this morning. What's she doing? And she's out. All right. So thank you so much for being here. See, some of us are trickling in. Today, I have a special message regarding Mercury Retrograde and toxic relationships, just like the title lets you know. Putting a little comment here in the chat. So at the end, I would love to do a little Q&A. I can also pull some oracle cards to help you all out in your personal relationships as well. Good morning, Style and Coffee. It's good to see you. I like that name. If you are not subscribed to the channel, this is your first time here, feel the vibes out. If you vibe with it, subscribe. My name is Amy. I am a tarot reader. I'm a teacher. I'm a yoni empowerment educator. I'm a sexual empowerment educator. I'm a lot of different things. But today we are talking about relationships and Mercury retrograde. A lot of my clients have been coming to me asking me questions about relationships, and not just relationships, but specific types of relationships where it seems like the same sort of thing kind of happens over and over again. I have my sage over here if you're wondering why I'm smoky. Sage in the building. I was trying to calm the cat down, actually. She's tripping. Like, she's normally really calm too. Yes, karmic relationships, toxic relationships as well. Okay, so that's something I wanted to clarify here. A lot of the times, toxic relationships are the same as karmic relationships. So thank you for bringing that up, Sheila Mosley. Definitely, because those things are really, really similar. So first, what is Mercury retrograde? You might have been seeing a lot of memes about it. You might see like astrologers and like hippie people talking about it, right? Mercury retrograde it happens like 3 or 4 times a year. I'm not an astrologer, so forgive me. But it happens about 3 or 4 times a year. It's like integrated into our year. And it's a time where the planet of Mercury appears to be moving backwards. He's not actually moving backwards. He just kind of stalls out and it makes it look like he's moving backwards. Mercury is the planet of communication, the planet of travel, of technology. And so when he's retrograde, he's taking us back to things that have happened. He's slowing us down. He's making us re-examine the things that we've been committed to, that we've been participating in, and that we've been giving our power to. So we're in the middle of a Mercury retrograde right now in the sign of Scorpio. What's up, Kayla? And Scorpio is already an intense sign. It's a sign of death, rebirth, and transformation. So when you take Scorpio, and you take a retrograde and you put it together, we have relationship drama, lots of relationship drama and lots of relationship issues. So as a tarot reader, see, we love the Scorpios. You guys, your sign is intense and you guys just live that all year long, right? The rest of us just have to go through that energy for 1 month and we can't even really hold it together. So good job, Sheila. So yeah, a lot of my clients have been coming to me asking me, is so-and-so going to come back? Am I going to have another chance with this person? You guys will tell me these really intense stories about how you've known this person for a really long time. You have bad fallouts. It's constantly back and forth. You've been talking to each other for years, 10 years, 7 years, 5 years, and it's just things don't ever really seem to be gelling together. You guys can't seem to be on the same page. It's those on again, off again relationships. So those are what I'm talking about. Karmic relationships and toxic relationships are often the same thing. Now, a toxic relationship is a relationship that is no good for you, right? That is not something, well, I take that back. It's not necessarily no good for you. It's it's seeking to teach you something, right? You're supposed to learn these lessons and move on, not necessarily stay in the relationship for your whole life or for 10 years. But essentially, we stay in these relationships for as long as it takes us to learn our lesson, right? So we each have our own path. Ooh, sorry. It takes however long it takes for you. I'm not even going to front and act like I've never been in a toxic relationship. I definitely have. We were on again, off again, all the classic signs that I'm about to talk to you about. And honestly, that relationship took me about 6-7 years to get over completely. That's a long time. And I feel like if I had known the information that I'm going to give you today, if I would have known all of that before, I might have been able to get out of that quicker. So that's my hope for you today. I hope this information today helps to empower you in your relationships. I hope that it helps you to see what's going on and what the purpose is. Each of our relationships is here to teach us something that we could not learn on our own, right? Relationships put someone else in front of you as a mirror to show you different aspects of yourself, to allow someone to get in on the inside and then test you. Okay, so while we're all out here like, oh, I just want to be in a relationship, I just want to find my soulmate, relationships are hard work. It's not just Instagram and Facebook. Relationships are hard work. It forces you to look at aspects of yourself that you cannot see without the other person. Okay, so put that into perspective as we're talking right now. And just in life in general, if you're single and you're like, oh, what? Relationships are hard, okay? They don't have to be forever, and they shouldn't be forever, right? Especially as you learn these lessons and start attracting better partners to you. It shouldn't be something that is constantly difficult. Okay, so all that to say, we will be having a little Q&A in a minute. Hey, Goldilocks. I will be pulling cards at the end for anyone that wants some insight. But for right now, I want to give you some signs about toxic and karmic relationships. So a toxic relationship is a relationship that pretty much just makes you feel like crap the majority of the time. Now, if we want to go into what a karmic relationship is, that kind of depends on your beliefs about spirituality. A karmic relationship is a relationship between two souls, right? Because we're humans. We're in this human experience, but we are actually spiritual beings, right? So it's when two souls or two spirits have history in previous lifetimes, okay? Not everyone believes in reincarnation and all of that. So if it doesn't resonate with you, just tune this part out. So a karmic relationship is when two souls have a relationship on this earth, in this existence, and they've also had history together in previous lifetimes. During those previous lifetimes, they collect certain karma together. They decide that they want to learn certain things together. And so that's why sometimes it feels like when you're just meeting someone, it feels like you've known them for a long time, okay? Because maybe you have in a previous lifetime. Okay. So I hope that makes sense between karmic and toxic relationships. There's some common ties depending on who you talk to. Karmic relationships and toxic relationships are not the same. Some people say they are, whatever. The point is, these are some things to look out for. And I want to mention, just because someone keeps coming back into your life does not mean that you are meant to be together. That is something I used to think, especially when I was dealing with whoever I was dealing with in the past. That was something I really couldn't understand. If this person is not meant for me, why do they keep coming back? I have a question over here. Karmic relationships aren't supposed to last. No, they're not. They're not supposed to last. They are supposed to teach you lessons that you get over and then not necessarily even get over. They're supposed to teach you lessons that you integrate into your life, that you understand completely, so that you elevate and start attracting better partners, your soulmates, your twin flames, that sort of thing. We are not ready for the greatest version of love. We're often not ready for our greatest version of love right at the beginning. We have to go through these little trials and these tests to determine what kind of person we want, who we want to be in a relationship, like what we need out of relationships, what we never want to go through again, what we definitely want to feel again. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. Thank you for posing that. I'm not always sure if I'm making sense. So keep typing over there and I'll try and remember to multitask. Okay, so karmic relationships, toxic relationships are not supposed to last. They're supposed to teach you about yourself, teach you what you want, teach you where you want to go, all of that. So just because they keep coming back around every few months does not mean that they are meant for you. Let that part sink in. I don't know if it's as profound to you as it was to me at the time. Because I was just like, wow, they keep coming back. They must really love me. This must be who I'm meant to be with. No, it's not. They come back. Yes, Goldilocks, they come back because we allow them to, because we have not learned our lessons yet, because they still have something very valuable to teach us, and we just haven't absorbed that into our subconscious minds yet. You know, they always say time heals everything. It takes a lot of time. That's partially true. The time portion is how long it takes for you to absorb your lesson into your subconscious mind, okay? All right. So let's talk about some of the signs that you're in a toxic relationship. First of all, if it's that's Kali, she's crazy. If your relationship is on again, off again, and you guys just can't seem, hey baby, come down, and you guys can't seem to be on the same page together at the same time, that's one sign that this might be like a karmic thing. It might be something meant to kind of test you and keep you on your toes, okay? So that on again, off again, back and forth, the roller coaster of we're talking, no, we're not talking, we're talking, no, we're not talking. That's a big sign right there that you are in a karmic or toxic relationship, okay? Now, is a relationship really toxic if you are learning from it? That's a great question that just came up in my mind. And I would say the answer is no. If you are learning from your relationship and you're growing from it in every moment, it's not a waste of time. It's not toxic. It's something that you have to go through. But if you allow these certain things to continue happening for years on end, is it toxic? Definitely. So one of the first signs, other than the on again, off again, is your energy. Hey, Tony, how you doing? If you are always feeling drained with your significant other, that is a huge sign that you're in a toxic relationship. Your energy should be elevated by the person that you're with. It should be like when you come home from work, it should be like, oh, it's good to see you. You know, like you should be excited to be around the person that you're in a relationship with. If you're dreading coming home, if you feel drained like the instant you lay eyes on the individual that you're with, then that could be a sign that you are in a toxic relationship. Okay. Another sign, if you are the only one giving. Have you guys ever been in a relationship like that where you feel like you're the only one trying, you're the only one trying to make it work, you're the only one putting in effort? That's a huge sign that it's a toxic relationship, right? Because there's no boundaries. You're not building any boundaries for yourself. You're just giving and giving and giving, and no one is providing anything back to you. What's up with? Yes, Kayla says she's been in a relationship like that before. Definitely. It's exhausting. And that's part of the reason why you feel drained, is because it's like it's a never-ending siphon of energy. It's like an energy vampire. They just take everything from you. Yes, Sheila Mosley. One-sided relationships are definitely toxic. Okay, if you are doing all of the work and your energy is zapped the moment that you come back home or get on the phone with them or start texting them, whatever, then that is toxic. It's karmic. If you're always trying to please them, exactly, always trying to please them, always worried about their reaction, definite signs that you are in a toxic relationship. Let's see. Tony, that's a great question. I want to come back to that question in a minute. I'm not even counting. I don't know why I said number just now. Another sign that you're in a toxic relationship is that you can't trust them and they can't trust you. And you both are just really obsessed with what the other person is doing. Maybe trying to go through their phones all the time, trying to catch glances unnecessarily. And I think it's natural to wonder what people are doing. But if it's like intense to the point where everything out of their mouth you think is a lie, or they treat you like everything you're saying is a lie, like I just can't trust you, like that's toxic, right? We are all individuals. We all should be allowed a certain amount of independence. And if you can't trust the person that they're with and they don't trust you, it's kind of like, well, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing together? And some people, they want to go through the phone. Okay. And they can't, extend that trust to someone else, or maybe there's something that went on in the relationship previously that's making you want to look through the phone. I've honestly looked through people's phone as well. I've done it, and I found out some really messed up stuff. So I'm not saying that you can't do it. What I am saying is, if the dynamic between you two is so intense or so distrustful that you can't believe anything that they're saying, it's super toxic. Not only, and primarily to yourself, because why are you entertaining that sort of disingenuous energy? I do so many readings for you guys, and I'm telling so many of you, you need to tighten up your circle. Your significant other isn't telling you the truth, and yet you don't do anything about it, or you allow it to be there, and it just becomes more and more and more and more toxic. How can I get away with this? How can I it reminds me of being a kid, right? And you're trying to sneak around your parents or something, and you come up with these elaborate plans and schemes and lies about what you're doing so that your parents don't find out. It's the same thing, but in a relationship, you're kind of reenacting this childish drama, but in an adult relationship, right? Where you're sneaking around and you're like, oh, don't want dad to find out, don't want mom to find out, right? It's too much. If you can't trust each other, on a consistent basis, to a point where you can't even trust if you can't even trust when that person tells you hey, I'm at the grocery store, and you're like, yeah, right, he can't be at the grocery store, or she's not at the grocery store, she's probably doing whatever, right? If that sort of dynamic all the time, could be a toxic relationship. Now, I think that's great. Someone in the chat was like, well, hey, if that's a toxic relationship, that's me. That's wonderful. I want you to think about yourself in a relationship as we're going through all of this. How are you toxic? Because we're so quick to point at other people. We're so quick to point at our partners, you're toxic, you're doing this, you're not doing this, you're not doing this. But what about ourselves? So thank you so much for saying that. If this is you, figure out, can I let some aspect of this go, or what part of me is causing me to behave in this toxic way? How can I improve as a partner? So just throwing that out there, y'all. The whole point of being alive is to be better today than you were yesterday. At least that's what I think. All right. Another sign, if the space in your house feels hostile, if you feel like you have to walk on eggshells, that you can't say how you're really feeling or what you're really thinking, if you breathing too loud is a source of a big blow up, a big huge fight, then that space is hostile. It's not healthy. It could be toxic. Oh, another one. If you're constantly being judged and someone's just like looking at you all the time, like, why are you chewing like that? Why why are you looking like that? Why why are you dressing like that? All of these things, like when someone starts nitpicking at you, judging you, all these little pieces um of you, these things that you're doing. Why do you tie your shoes like that? Why do you brush your teeth like that? When they start just judging you unnecessarily about like really small things, um, it could be that the other person is trying to make themselves feel better or trying to exert some sort of power over you to make you feel less than what you are. Okay. If your partner is unreliable, you can't count on them. You can't trust them to be where they're supposed to be. They're supposed to pick you up at this time and they can't even remember to do that. Like that's another sign of it being one-sided. They're not taking you seriously. They're not putting you first. They're not um, prioritizing you as an individual. If your partner seems obsessed with themselves and pays no attention to you, like constantly like only looking at themselves in the mirror and only taking pictures of themselves and only worrying about themselves, like could be a sign of a toxic relationship, right? You would think that the point of being with someone is that companionship, is that camaraderie, is that union coming together and regarding someone as important as you are. But if they're only worried about themselves, only thinking about themselves, they're super narcissistic and always like, how do I look? This is what I want. Me. If your partner is that way, could be a sign that you're in a toxic relationship. Goldilocks, if you notice your circle of friends start disappearing, they can't seem to have a life outside of your relationship. Yes, that's another one. That is another one. If your partner wants to isolate you, they only want to hang out with you, right? And they tell you that you can only hang out with them. You can't have your friends. We're together now. You can only hang out with me. Okay. That could be a sign of being in a toxic relationship, someone isolating you, someone telling you, hey, you can't have friends, you can't go to your family's house. That control, that constant control that someone is trying to seek over you, that is toxic, right? We are individuals, okay? Yes, Sheila, most karmic relationships are with narcissists. What is a narcissist? Someone who is so focused on themselves that they'll manipulate and do whatever it takes to get what they want. Okay. Narcissists do not consider the feelings of other people. So these are also ways of telling that you're dealing with a narcissist. If they try and isolate you, make you only about them and nobody else. Okay. And I feel like I've done that before in certain ways. Like it's just we're together. Like you should hang out with me today. Like every day is us day. And it took me a while to realize that that's not fair. That's not fair, especially like people have an entire life when you meet them. They have interests, they have friends, they have family members, they have all these things. And then we just walk on up in there like, hey, forget all that other stuff you've been doing. It's just me now. That's not necessarily fair. You should be allowed to see your friends. And to even say that you should be allowed, oh, I'm not allowed to do X, Y, and Z in my relationship. It's kind of like, are you a child? Like, okay. And of course, other people, y'all have the power to engage in whatever relationship you want to be in. Okay. But what I'm telling you right now are signs that your relationship is toxic. And if you are still engaging in some of these practices over here, then you're still in the early stages of learning your lessons about relationships. So it's okay, right? But if life is like a game, y'all are going to be stuck on that first level if you don't start learning some of these things. You're going to be stuck on level 1, doing this over and over and over, every Mercury retrograde, having the same ex coming back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. You can do that if you want to. That's up to you. Like, this is your whole life. You get to decide what you want. And I'm not even being like a jerk about it. Like, this is honestly your life. Um, I'm just trying to give you some ways that you can maybe ascend, that you can start having some different experiences instead of the same old, same old, same old. Okay. So narcissism, you can't talk openly with your partner. You're constantly being disrespected, right? I've been in relationships and I think I've been the person who would just like purposely say some rude shit just to I don't know, because some part of me wasn't being validated at that moment. So I'd be like, well, blah blah blah, and then say something that was disrespectful just for a reaction or just to make myself feel good or just to move like the spotlight away from my partner, right? And that's so rude. That constant disrespect, that undermining each other for what reason? For no reason, really. For no valid reason. That disrespect is just not cool. It's not cool. Your partner should want to uplift you, to show or help show that the best sides of yourself with your partner, which is another sign. If you feel like you are always the worst version of yourself with your partner, could be a sign that it's a karmic relationship. It's trying to teach you something about the way you relate with other people, the way you show up in relationships. If you always feel like the worst version of yourself, then this individual is potentially a karmic partner, someone sent to you to help you see how effed up you truly are. And I've been there. I'm not talking to you as someone who's not been there. Like, I really feel like it's only been in the last 2 years or so that I've been out of these sort of karmic relationships. Oh, good. Yeah. I'm seeing some of the comments. Tony says, yeah, that was me. That's why I lost my relationship. Some questions: should one stay in a toxic relationship even if they have children with the person? Yeah. And Sheila could have recorded this video. Sheila and Goldilocks have some good insight here in the comments. So if you haven't been looking, you should. But yes, there's a couple questions that I wanted to get to. Shay, thanks for being here, girl. But one of them was talking about, if you have kids with someone, should you stay in a toxic relationship? And honestly, you got to think about the kids and what the kids are seeing and what the kids are learning subconsciously about the relationship, especially if they're young kids. If they are up to about like 8 or 9, especially, they are soaking in a lot of subconscious lessons about what a relationship is and what it means to relate to other people. So if your kids are seeing this and they're like 9 and younger, I would definitely encourage the individuals to figure it out, right? Whether that means to separate or to like really work on themselves or what, but your subconscious is so vulnerable at that time. It's really going to affect the younger children. Of course, older children will affect them. Yes, definitely. They're still seeing things, but it won't impact the same way as if they were super, super young. But still, you want to be a good example to your children of what positive relationships are. And that's another reason to check yourself, because if you don't teach your kids these things, then they're just going to go out looking for the same things you did. And I was looking for a lot of BS. Like, I was looking for some things and I found them too. And a lot of my life was caught up in these toxic patterns because I didn't have anyone to teach me otherwise. Okay, so should you stay in it just for your kids? I don't know about your specific relationship, but what I do know is that your kids are watching you and they're learning from you and they're going to repeat a lot of the same shit that you are doing. Tony was asking, can a karmic relationship be ever turn healthy? And if you both are willing and ready to work on those issues, to show up openly and honestly in your relationship to be like, hey, I've been this and this and this person. I've been doing these things. I don't want to do that anymore. If you both are ready for that, you can transcend the toxic title. But not every relationship is meant to follow you. Some toxic relationships they eventually turn into something positive, that people work through their BS together and it ends up being great. Is that everyone's story though? No, it's not. So again, it's highly individual. I don't know your specific relationship or your specific lessons on this earth about relationships, but it is possible. It's possible, but both partners have to be ready at the same time. And in karmic and toxic relationships, that's already really hard to do. Kiana says, I agree. Don't stay in a toxic relationship for the kids. The best thing to do is leave. We are worth so much more, and we all need to start realizing that. Shay. Yes, definitely. I agree with that, Kiana. And I'm glad you're realizing that too. Sheila Mosley, if they see in all those things, 9 times out of 10, they'll repeat the toxic cycle only because they watched their parents and considered it to be okay because their parent didn't leave. Exactly. And that's not okay. Just like Goldilocks is saying down here, it's not okay. We need to start teaching our babies and ourselves how to value ourselves better. There's a couple more here. Control issues. I think we kind of talked about that already. Someone seeking to control you all the time. Like, where are you going? What are you doing? What are you eating? What are you wearing? Like everything. We're individuals. And what you're doing by trying to control is you're telling your partner, or you're teaching your partner what they need to hide from you. That's really what you're doing. Okay, just like when we're little kids and our parents are too much in there, we find ways around it. People are always going to do what they want to do, always, regardless of what you're trying to get them to do or not do. Okay, and I'm speaking as a Taurus, because you tell me to do something, I'm going to do the complete opposite. So yes. Hey, thank you so much for being in here, for liking the video, for subscribing. If you haven't liked yet and you are enjoying the messages here, please do me that favor. I would love your help. All right, a few more. If you can't speak your mind, that's another one. If you feel like you are constantly betraying yourself, that's a huge sign. If you feel like you can't ever do what you want to do, or you have a gut feeling about something and they're trying to convince you that you're crazy for feeling it, or you don't really feel that. If your partner is causing you to betray yourself, that's a huge sign that your relationship is toxic. Okay. I think that's called gaslighting too, right? That's abuse. That's emotional abuse. Making someone believe that. If we talked about your partner always lying, if your relationship isn't growing, that's another sign. If you guys are just stuck at this level and you're always fighting and always going back and forth and you can't get past this level together, your relationship is not growing. That's a huge sign that there's something that this person is highlighting for you. There's something there in your subconscious that you have to dig up, a lesson that you have to learn. You have to transcend it, right? And that's when the relationship starts to grow. And usually it starts to grow because you've chosen to leave. You've chosen yourself, really. And so that's why it's very important for each of us to have a strong sense of who we are before we ever get in a relationship. So if any of you in here are single and you have not been doing work on yourself, you should definitely be doing that. Spend more time like dating yourself, figuring out who you are, what you like, what you don't like, where your boundaries are. All of those things are going to help you attract a partner that is better for you. It's going to help you attract someone who you can be yourself with, right? A lot of us tend to lose ourselves in relationships to where we don't have our own desires, our own thoughts, our own goals, our own anything. It's all just whatever she wants, whatever he wants, whatever they want, you know? So work to create a strong sense of who you are so that you don't lose that person when you are in a relationship. Yeah. If you're not making progress and you feel like you've lost your own identity, that's a sign of it being a toxic relationship. And finally, if you always feel like you're not doing anything right, you're just like, "Oh, man, I can't do anything right." You're never happy with me. Like, everything I do is a problem. That's a huge sign, right? Because if you can't like do anything right and you're just being you over there, like what kind of internal messages what is your subconscious internalizing about that, right? You're starting to turn on yourself like, okay, well, I'm not worth it. I'm not worthy. I'm not attractive. I can't do these things right, you know? And so that starts impacting your own self-esteem, your own self-worth, right? And that's why we have like these beautiful, gorgeous ass women with really low self-esteem because these toxic relationships, right? Oh, yeah, that's huge. Kiana says another difficult thing is knowing when to just be patient and when to let go. And that is completely an individual decision. My version of too much is not going to be the same as your version of too much. And this is why I encourage all of you to write things down that you want. So each and every one of you in here, and each and every one of you that watches this, I want you to write down maybe 5, 10 characteristics that you want from a relationship. And maybe 5 or 10 things that you don't want out of a relationship or that you never want to experience again. Okay. Then you can kind of compare those lists to the situation that you're in. So if you're saying, well, I want someone who's kind and understanding and loving. If you have those 3 things on your list and you're with someone who's angry, rude, and unhelpful, then you can look at your list and be like, well, I said I wanted these 3 things. All I have are these 3. And from there you can make a more objective decision like, this isn't what I want because I wrote down what I wanted right here. So for me, writing helps. It helps me to see things a lot more objectively, Kiana, because it is difficult to decide when to stay and go sometimes. And this is also a reason why I want you to develop a stronger sense of self, a stronger sense of your own intuition so that you can hear those messages, so that when it is time, you can hear. Because your higher self, your angels, ancestors, spirit guides, you got so much help and assistance all around you all the time. But a lot of us don't take the time out to connect. We don't take the time out to face ourselves, to face our decisions, our choices, and our relationships in this way. So if you do not have a journaling practice, or you're not doing yoga, or you're not meditating, or you're not ever taking the time to be quiet with yourself, to reflect and contemplate, I would definitely suggest that you do that. These things help us make decisions when it's time to make decisions, okay? It's not just like cutesy, oh, self-care. No, it's real, okay? So yes, start a journal. Start a journal, y'all. I'm going to have more videos about working with the moon, setting intentions and things like that, because that really helps to see your relationship objectively. Yeah, Kiana says when people start making baby steps in the right direction, you're like, yeah, okay, this is gonna work. This is gonna, they're gonna change. They're gonna do this. Again, that speed is up to you. Okay, we all are on different life paths, right? Your version of a month, a month for you might be too short of a time for me. At this point, I'm like, no, and I think it becomes clearer. What you need to do becomes clearer when you get clearer about who you are. Okay. Do that inner work. It's going to help you with everything. Kiana says a lot of us ignore the signs and some of us be knowing we need to walk away. Yes, I'm working that out now, just letting go and completely letting go. It's not easy, but I'm learning. Oh yeah, it's not easy. It's not. It's not. If it was easy, we wouldn't learn anything. We all seem to like easy because like, ooh, no sweat. I don't have to think about it. Mm-mm. But if something, think about when things are difficult, right? In school and just in life in general, when things are difficult and you learn that difficult lesson, it's hard to forget, right? Like, ooh, I went through that. It was so rough. I'm never doing that again. So that is why a lot of this is difficult to overcome because once you are able to do it, you're never going to be faced with that sort of thing again. Right? That's the idea. Once you learn the lesson, you don't have to continue going through the same thing. That's why it's difficult because this is something that it's monumental. You're going to remember this. It's going to inform your future relationships, right? After I got out of my toxic relationship, I knew for a fact I never wanted to participate in anything like that again. And I haven't. And it's because that experience was so huge and so difficult. Okay. If it was easy, then, you wouldn't remember it. Just like, I don't remember what I had for dinner last night. It's easy. All right. Okay, so we all know a bunch of signs that your relationship is toxic, but here are a few to let you know that your relationship is healthy. If your opinions are heard and valued, you might be in a healthy relationship. If you both are putting in effort, if you trust each other and you allow a certain amount of independence, if your partner supports you and you feel safe and heard and listened to, those are great signs that you're in a good relationship. If you can communicate openly with your partner, if your self-esteem is improving with your partner, if your relationship feels safe and reliable, if you can work together to overcome your problems, and if you enjoy each other's company, you are likely in a positive relationship. Okay? So, again, relationships are highly personal topics. What I accept and want and allow in a relationship is going to be different than what you want, accept, and allow. These are things to be aware of. If you feel, and again, it's your life, you get to choose what you're going to do. I'm not going to force you to do anything. I just wanted to bring up this topic because I see in my readings that I do, a lot of people are struggling with this, and we're in the thick of Mercury retrograde. I thought it might be helpful for some of you who are ready to transcend these certain things and get to the next level in terms of relationship. So if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat over here. I'm going to read through and see if I've missed anybody. I do have some oracle cards if we're wanting to look into some relationships or just get general messages. If you have enjoyed the video so far, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And yeah, thanks for rocking with me. Let's see. People pleasers, beware of controlling folks. Yes, Goldilocks, that's wonderful. People, if you've always kind of been told that you're nice, you might be a people pleaser. I am a recovering people pleaser. And, by me wanting to make other people happy, I ended up doing a lot of things I didn't actually want to do. So it's important to build up those boundaries and to know like that it's okay to say no. And it's okay if someone doesn't like you because you said no. So same in relationship, you got to set up those boundaries. If you're a people pleaser, you're always seeking to please somebody else, you could be a lot more susceptible to a toxic relationship. Is it possible to have several karmic relationships? I feel like the majority of mine were, yeah, definitely, especially if there's something that you're not yet learning, like self-worth or trust or trusting your intuition or something. If there's some theme that you haven't quite figured out yet, it's going to keep reappearing in different people, right? Your relationship. So that's a great point. If you're finding that your relationship looks like, okay, if you're finding that each relationship you have follows a certain pattern or keeps reminding you of a certain somebody, what this tells you is that there's still something you haven't learned about the situation, okay? It also is asking you to get clear on what you want. So sometimes we attract back to us the same type of relationship because we don't actually know what we want. We haven't actually figured that out. And so here come these toxic relationships to teach us everything that we don't want. Okay. It could also, it also is that you are attracting to you what you can't see down below in your subconscious. So your subconscious is like, hey, pay attention to me. And the only way that it can is by sending you someone who holds up a mirror to you. So yes, Sheila, you can have more than one karmic relationship. They can keep appearing in different people, different situations until you learn that lesson, until you make new decisions for yourself. Let's see. Yeah. I'll get to you in just a second, Kayla. I want to see if there's any questions real quick. Yeah, Kayla and Kiana are twins, actually, Sheila. They're twins. Tony says, I was the toxic person in the relationship. I'm wondering if I can have a healthy relationship. I'm ready to change. Yes, Tony, absolutely. That is a huge sign. Thank you. Okay. You're amazing, Tony, for even being able to admit that, to look back and to see, hey, I was the toxic one. I understand what I did. I know how I impacted someone else. Now, that sort of reflection and looking back is exactly what you need in order to grow, in order to potentially repair the relationship and to attract to you your soulmate. So that is beautiful. Thank you so much for being vulnerable enough to recognize that, because the truth is each of us probably does at least one of these things that we talked about. I'm still always checking myself like, damn it. I did that thing where I'm being controlling, or I did that thing where I'm like just judging someone all the time. And really what that shows you is an unresolved or unhealed part of yourself. Okay. So let's see. I have numerology cards. I have chakra cards. I have romance angel cards. Let's start with these. These can be a little weird sometimes. So if they're too weird, I'm going to switch to regular tarot. Yes, Goldie. Yes. Thank you for affirming, Tony. You recognizing it is already growth. Yes, if you are able to look at yourself and see, I messed up, then you're already most of the way there in terms of learning the lesson. Now that you know you've messed up, now it's your responsibility to start practicing these other more positive aspects of relationship. Okay. So I love it. I love the growth that's in here. Thank y'all so much. And thank you for liking the video, for subscribing to the channel. Y'all are amazing. Okay. Goldie says, I'm a recovering doormat. Yeah, definitely. I have to think about that sometimes too. Like, wait, I want to help, but I'm important too. Okay, so I'm going to go back up to Kayla. Kayla says, I'm not in a relationship, just wondering if there's a heart out there for me. Absolutely. There's someone for everyone. And I believe that wholeheartedly. If you haven't found that person yet, then again, it's not misfortune or bad luck or anything like that. It is an opportunity for you to learn who you are, to go after what you want, to create for yourself the life that you want, so that when you do meet that person, you can elevate together versus having to be stuck in these other lessons, you know? Relationships are not just about sex and happiness and all that, which it can be. Relationships are difficult sometimes, you know? So enjoy wherever you're at. If you are with someone right now, if you are single, the whole point is to be learning. As long as you're learning, you're doing it right. Kayla, Leo 91. What's going on with these romance cards and Kayla? Thank you for being here. Playfulness. So this is a fun card. It's about flirting. It says to capture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. So how do you attract to you the relationships, the love that you want? By having fun, by enjoying yourself, by doing more of the things that you love. Okay, if for me that's like reading and the beach and food and all of these things, and I used to be like, well, I'm single, I can't go to this restaurant because I'm not going to sit by myself, or I can't go here because I'm single, or I'm sad because I'm single, so I'm just going to sit in my house. Kayla, your message is to get out there, to have fun, do what you love, and it's through that that your energy starts attracting to you a partner. Okay, Tony. You do have the ability to change for sure. Let's see what card comes out for you, Tony. Passion. Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. The things that you are passionate about are big clues about where your purpose is. Very similar to what I was saying to Kayla. In order to draw this love to you, this healing energy to you, you need to continue engaging in things that you are passionate about. And the first thing that comes to my mind is you and the business that you're trying to start. Okay, so your passion begins with you and your creative self-expression, and then through that you can attract to you more love, more growth. What else do we have over here? I'm in a relationship which is toxic, but not as toxic. Will he ever change? Okay, so again, if you recognize, I think we're really concerned about other people changing. When are you going to change? When are you going to be this way? When are you going to be this way? But really, the important thing is when are you going to change? When are you going to change what you allow? When are you going to change your boundaries or start implementing boundaries? When are you going to require more? That's something to think about. But let's see. Let's see what these cards say. Libra, nothing but savage, JK. What's going on here? Let's get a card. Nothing but savage. What do we have for this relationship? What do they need to know? Okay, hold on. Yeah, it's definitely something to think about. Okay. Your card is new love. I'm not sure that he's going to change. I think it's you that needs to change. You need to change what you're allowing, what you're going after. Okay? Yes, Kayla. Yes. You've been through so much, for sure, for sure. Something general, no question. Just wondering if I can get a message. What's needed for Kiana right now? Of course. Hi, Lachey. How are you, boo? You're so welcome, Tony. Do me a favor, y'all, and like this video. I've been looking at the same number of likes for the last 15 minutes and a lot different change in who's in here. So if y'all could give me a thumbs up, especially if you're still here rocking with me, that would be very much appreciated. What does Kiana need to know from the romance angels? I've been good, Lachey. We've just been over here talking about toxic relationships. Okay, Kiana, for you, this one is healing family issues. So in general, what needs to occur? Thank you for smashing that like button. I appreciate you. It went up too. Y'all are dope. In order to call in a greater version of love into your life. You got to heal some of those issues within your family. It says your love life benefits as you forgive your parents, but also whatever there is in there that needs to be healed within the people or within your familial circle. Okay, I think you know what this could be referencing to. I'm not going to put you out there like that. General, for Shay, yeah, what's going on? Romance angels, what's going on for Shay? Okay, finances and career. So your love life is being impacted by finances and career choices. So you both are learning and growing and figuring out your new roles and what you would like together. So hang in there with that. Yeah, Kiana, I know what I'm talking about too, girl. That's something to think about. Okay, Sheila, do you see pregnancy with my Libra guy, Jeremy? Almost. Let's see. I haven't answered a pregnancy question with these cards before. Let's see if we can do it. You're welcome so much, Kiana. Thank you for being in here. No, Lachey, that one wasn't for you yet. I'm going to get you in a minute. This one is for Sheila Mosley. Okay. Okay, this says worth waiting for. So Sheila, about your pregnancy, divine timing is at play. Your angels, ancestors, and spirit guides have heard you and will be granting you this wish, but I'm not sure that right now is the right time. Okay, so just exercise a little bit more patience, and when the time is right. Lachey, let's get one for Lachey. I'm going to keep going down the line, so give me just a minute. I'll get to you. Thank you for smashing that like button. Today I'm pulling from the romance angel deck, okay? Ooh, Lachey. This one says, give your relationship a chance, work on your partnership. And then we have soulmate. Yes, this is your soulmate. So if you're talking to somebody right now, it's divine. There's definitely aspects of this relationship that are destined for you. So enjoy that shit, girl. Ooh, you got some. Ooh, go Lachey. Ty says, hey, I feel in a better place so far. Just bought my first 2 crystals and sage. By the way, I hope you're doing well. Love your natural hair light. Thanks, Ty. If you guys are just coming in here for the first, if you guys just got in this room, I've been over here talking for like an hour. I'm going to save this live. The first part, we talked about signs that you could be in a toxic or karmic relationship. Go ahead and check that part out if you haven't. Let's see. What is Ty's message regarding relationship? 11-year relationship. Damn, girl. I think my max has been like 5. But that's so great for you. Cashapp. What does Ty need to know? Relationship and romance angels. Okay, so we have passion. It says, allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. We also have this card here, religious factors. It says your love life is influenced by your upbringing and spiritual path. Okay, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. I know for me, religious factors definitely impacted my relationships because I let them. Every bath time, yeah. Isabel, we have 2 cards here Release your ex and unrequited love. So there's some things that have happened in the past that maybe you're still hanging on to, still needing to heal from, still needing to release from your experience. Mercury retrograde is a great time for that. Scorpio season is a great time for that. I love you. Ooh. One of them, Ty, one of them is your soulmate. So I want you, like I mentioned earlier, I want you to write down the things that you desire from a relationship. Also write down the things that you do not want to experience within relationship. And then maybe you can compare each person to those lists. You can also hit me up and we can do like an either or reading for our 11/11 stuff. Crazy because me and Libra talked about kids once we're married. So worth the wait is making sense. Good. I'm glad it's making sense. For sure, for sure. 11/11 is a great time. Yes. Ooh. I want to do another video about that sort of thing. So numbers are really, really powerful. So today is the 9th. But on 11/11 would be a great time to write down those things that you desire out of a relationship. It's called setting your intentions. And it's also like 11/11 is a gateway. Okay, it's a gateway toward ascension. Then we have the full moon on 11/12. So that would be a great time for you to write about the things that you're releasing, the things that you're no longer accepting and not allowing into your life for 2020. Because guess what, y'all? It's about to be 2020. It's the end of an entire decade. That is so crazy to me. What a day to manifest. Exactly. So if you're single or if you're in a relationship that's struggling and you're wanting it to work out, or you're just wanting what's best for you, which is what I suggest manifesting. You know, sometimes we can get stuck manifesting like a specific person and it works, but when you get that person, it sometimes doesn't feel the way you thought it would. So instead, maybe write down the things, the characteristics of what you would like to attract, instead of like, ooh, I want to attract Amy Nobles. No, don't do that. So I would like to attract a partner who is kind, who is loving, who is blah, 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 whatever it is for you. Okay. And take those baths, y'all. Yes, soak and meditate, Lachey says. Definitely. Salt is so healing. If you have Epsom salt, it's purification, really. So pour a whole bunch of that shit into your bath. Soak in it. Visualize like all the negativity, all the things you no longer want or need. Visualize that like just rolling off your body, right? Do some exfoliating in the shower, like release. We need to release. Pink salt is dope too. Yes, Lachey, thank you for your input on this. But Mercury retrograde it's a time period we see at least 3 times a year, maybe 4. Again, I'm not an astrologer. I do know in general that it's something we experience constantly, which means we are constantly, if we haven't done the work, we are constantly energetically pulling on those people in our past, pulling on those karmic partners, those toxic partnerships. We need to do the work during Mercury retrograde of releasing and allowing and allowing ourselves to transcend. Okay. If we keep letting those same exes come back and entertain them, our energy is being pulled back into the past, right? And instead of the future where we're supposed to be focusing, okay? So do the work now so that Mercury retrograde is a lot less difficult for you the next time it comes around, because it's coming back in like January, I think, or February. It's a part of our lives, like constantly. So do the work and it won't be as crazy. Ty said, did my meditation before watching this live and sage. Oh, dope. How dope. Thank you for being here, Ty. Lachey says, I learned a lot from you. Amazing. Thank you. Yes, for sure. Releasing, Ty. You're right on time. Nothing But Savage says, I love your messages. You help me get through certain situations. That is so beautiful. Really, that's exactly why I'm doing this. Exactly why I'm doing this. So thank you. I almost got emotional just then. All I really truly want is to be of service, to be of assistance to you. So if this video helped you in any way, please give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who could benefit from it. I am saving this video here. And I'll be back with more videos because I have more ideas and more things I want to talk to you guys about. So turn on those the notification bell so that you can see when I am live. I will post this on Facebook for my Facebook family so you can have access to it there too. I hope you have a great day today. And I'll see you soon, okay? All right, lovelies. Bye. Oop, just kidding.